In this video, we're going to review factoring by grouping. And for factoring by grouping, it might not always be immediately obvious that that's the correct method to choose. But usually it's something worth trying out, especially if you have kind of lots of terms, like in like the problem here. So for factoring by grouping, I kind of like to divide the problem into two parts. So we have the first two terms here and the second two terms. And what you want to do is you want to pull, you basically just want to factor each of these individually. So for example, for the first term right here, we can factor an x squared out of that, right? So then we're left with x here and 2 here. So we have an x plus 2. And so for the second term, we can pull out a 25. And when we do that, we are left with an x plus 2. And so you'll notice in each part of this problem, we were able to pull out the same term, right? We were left with the same term. We were left with an x plus 2 here and an x plus 2 here. So what we can actually do then is take the x squared and the negative, or the 25, and we can group those together. So it's going to be x squared minus 25 because there's a negative sign there. And then we're just going to multiply that by x plus 2. And so now we're almost done. We've done the factoring by grouping part. But for this problem, we can actually factor this one more time. We can do, this is actually a difference of squares. So we can do x plus 5 and x minus 5, and then x plus 2. And now we have successfully factored this problem. And I'm just going to go over one more example. X cubed minus 4x squared minus 9x plus 36. And so the principle, it's the same principle here. So we can kind of divide the problem into two parts. And we're going to look at the first part, x cubed minus 4x squared. What can we factor out? Well, we can factor out an x squared. And we're left with x minus 4. And for the second part, 9x plus 36, we can factor out a 9 from each of these. So we're left with 9x x minus 4. And so like before in this first problem, we have two terms that are the same, x minus 4 and x minus 4. So we do the same thing. Once again, we take these first two terms, x squared and 9, it'd be minus 9, right, because there's a negative sign here. Group those together. And then we have x minus 4. And once again, this is a difference of squares here. We can do x plus 3, x minus 3, and x minus 4. And there we have our solution. So for this method, it's important to remember that you're not always guaranteed to get an answer. It kind of has to work out nicely, but it is a good method to use in some cases.